everyone, welcome to your own YouTube channel, Canadian Desire. So today here we are for our own YouTube channel podcast series, Inspiring Struggles Abroad. So today I'm gonna introduce myself as Bhavna, and if you are watching my channel, you know I am here from January 2022, and this is going to be a new podcast series on our channel. So today I'm gonna introduce a self-motivated, self-driven, enthusiastic professional who have changed lives of many people through his mentoring and his own, I would say, his own communication, and he's really good. I met him as in he was my professor when I was in Crandall University, and he is assistant professor in management in Crandall University. Along with that, he's also having like member of board in many communities and serving voluntary. So I would like you to introduce yourself.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate this. So as you said, I'm a assistant professor of management at Crandall University. I've been working there full time for about a little over 4 years, but I actually joined Crandall back in 2012 as a part-time faculty, and the last few years have just been an absolute joy for me in teaching primarily international students. I just love what I do. You mentioned that I'm on a number of boards and committees, and just love to serve my community. And I'm part of the police authority for Greater Moncton. I'm on the board for Service New Brunswick with the province. I'm part of the Chamber of Commerce, and even the local ski hill about 45 minutes away. I'm on the board of directors for there as well. So really just love serving my community.
Wow, that's really great. You are, I would say, having a lot of experience so that our viewers can have a knowledge about it. They can learn from your experiences. So particularly, I would ask, do you originally belong from Moncton, New Brunswick, or you moved here?
I actually moved here 23 years ago. I was by myself. I had no family here. I knew a few people here. I'm originally from New Brunswick, but I had done a 3-year detour through Toronto and my late 20s, and just that was an exciting time. But I knew I wanted to raise a family eventually, and coming to Moncton was just a good choice for me back in 2001.
So you were like born in New Brunswick itself?
I was actually born in Halifax, but I grew up in St. John.
So I would say you have experienced different provinces.
A few different provinces, so I got a few different experiences there, for sure.
So I would ask you particularly what field you are in specifically. I know you are professor. Other than that, what areas of interest you have, or basically what you are serving to communities?
For sure. One of the things I say to people from time to time is I'm 50 years old and I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. And years ago, as a teenager, I wanted to be a high school math teacher. And I actually went to the University of New Brunswick I majored in mathematics. I later then went to Mount Allison University, and I did an education degree. And then I, after working in different fields in IT and project management, release management, doing some different things. I did my MBA. I actually did it here at the University of Moncton, here in our city. And so having a math degree, a teaching degree, a business degree, and all kinds of computer stuff and so on. Still haven't figured out what I want to be when I grow up, but I do enjoy my life, and I just love being with people.
Yeah, that's everybody knows like how you have been in going to Disney trips and everything. So let me say he's a fun-loving person and he's very down to earth. When I was with him in his course, I never thought that you are like a professor. We were like more of like friends, and
sure.
I was always looking for the guidance. And in like my initial days, I got a guidance from you with related to the finance, how to manage your finance and how to get a good credit score. So you have I would say a hand over finance as well. So how you got that one?
Yeah, the managerial finance course, of course, you were in that class, and a great group of students in that class, including yourself. And that course, it's interesting with that type of course. It can be taught in a few different ways. It could be taught as a pure finance course, but I always looked at that course as something where somebody that aspires to be a manager or a leader in an organization, that what do you need to know about finance? What do you need to know about the banking system? Or what do you need to know about when a company merges with another company? Or, like the basics of financial statements, and put it in more practical sense. And I always want my students to come away with, from every lecture I do, what is it that they can use in the workforce the next day if they had the opportunity.
Yeah. So that was something related to the education type.
Right.
So let's come more into I would say people can have a daily basis of knowledge. So what led you establish yourself in Moncton? Because I know people are moving here, and not even in New Brunswick, a lot of people are moving to Atlantic provinces or and like uncommon provinces these days. They don't want to go to the big provinces. So what led you?
Well, I mean, I had a great experience while living in Toronto. I knew, though, that the big city life, although fun, it wasn't for me. And when I looked at some different options, Moncton is just one of those places that made sense. It was a little bit smaller back then. I mean, it's 23 years ago. We've grown a lot since, and we've grown in the right ways. It's been a slow, steady growth, and really just love the diversity of what's here now. I'm married now, and I have 2 teenagers, and as you mentioned earlier, love going to Disney, and boy, my kids love going to Disney. And but just being part of the Moncton community and being able to contribute in a way that it's not just about the benefit for me, but giving me opportunities that I get to help my friends, my family, my coworkers, my students, and just people in general. So just love that very much so.
Okay. And I would like to ask, since you said that you are here from more than 2 decades, so what kind of things you have seen which have changed a lot?
Yeah, I mean, we look at as simple as although we complain about our traffic here in Moncton, it's what used to take us 5-6 minutes to get somewhere now it takes us 7-8 minutes. So we complain about it, but it's really not that bad of a thing. But obviously, with more people becomes more opportunities. It's nice to see a variety of restaurants that we have now, much more than we had before. And with the growth has allowed us, of course, to have really a world-class entertainment facility downtown that has really just brought in some big events, big shows. And a joy for me was an ice hockey tournament that we had here about a year and a half ago that was originally supposed to have been held on the other side of the world and got rerouted to hold here, and an ice hockey tournament, an international ice hockey tournament that I've been watching since I've been in high school, and finally it was in basically our backyard, and I don't think we would have had that if we hadn't had the growth in our community over the last several years. So to me, just positive things of the growth from that.
Yeah, I think same thing applies to the live concerts as well. Many of the live concerts are coming to Moncton itself. And if I compare Moncton from Fredericton, because Fredericton is the capital of New Brunswick, Moncton is growing at a faster pace as compared to Fredericton. And what kind of development and growth we can see in another 1 decade?
Yeah, my suspicion is we're going to have continued growth here, continued opportunities. One of the things that I've started to see in the last several years is with immigrants, newcomers coming here, settling here, bringing their families, or some of them starting families here. I have some students that have had children here in the last couple months, and so they're Canadian kids here, but just where we're headed is just amazing. But these immigrants and newcomers that are coming here, one of the things I appreciate, that I love, is the ideas that they bring, and some of the things that maybe some of us as domestic Canadians wouldn't have thought of business ideas, entertainment ideas, just community ideas, that it's bringing a more worldview to our community. My children get to benefit from this because they're learning from other cultures, other people around the world. It's just hanging out in the hallways at school is a social studies lesson for my children.
Yeah, that is true. In fact, I feel the same kind of thing because as an immigrant, I moved here 2 years ago.
Right.
And I have met people from different backgrounds, different countries. In fact, I am learning from them a lot of things which I feel I would have not learned if I would be in my own country.
Right.
And other than that, if we compare Moncton or New Brunswick to any other parts of the country, let's say if I have to compare that one from the Toronto, or if we have to compare that one from British Columbia. So what kind of changes we can have, like in terms of employment, in terms of, I would say, cost of living? What you say? Is it better to live here?
I think for the value for money, living in the Moncton area is incredible. Although housing prices have gone up, they're still far below the national average. So the money you're making can go further for you than it does in other areas. 25 years ago, you could go to the big city, make some big money, have to spend a lot of that money, but you were coming away with quite a bit. Now, though, wages are starting to have some level of parity to them. You're not going to Toronto or Montreal and making the much bigger money. It might be 10% more, where it used to be 50% more years ago. But our costs have still stayed somewhat a little bit lower. I think that's a testament to some of the good work we're doing here to make sure that we're providing opportunities, especially job opportunities, not just community opportunities, but job opportunities. I see it all the time that my students are getting jobs. They're getting good jobs at some of the bigger employers. It can take a little work to get them. I always encourage my students, start off by getting a customer service job first. Go work at a restaurant or a coffee shop or Walmart or something like that. Go get one of those jobs and see where it leads.
Yeah.
But learning those customer service skills in that type of an environment actually leads very well to then going to work for one of the banks or one of the other big businesses like Irving and others. Those big employers are really looking for the international students to get that Canadian customer service experience first. Because one thing, and I really want to say this, one thing is that every job, it doesn't matter what it is customer service. From the CEO to the janitor to a secretary to the accountant to the engineer, it's all customer service. It depends on who your customer is. That the customer might be a different person, but they're all customer service. But learning in a tough way the customer service kind of aspects in tough environments. And listen, working at Walmart and working at a restaurant, those are tough places to work. But if you can get the skills and experience of learning customer service there, you can do it anywhere.
Yeah. In fact, I do believe when I moved from India, I had an experience of an accountant for 7 years. And I always say to every immigrant that you can just take the first opportunity you get it. Either it's in any restaurant, either it's in any retail sector chain, so that you can start gaining Canadian experience, and then slowly and gradually, when you have a little bit of experience in your pockets, you can definitely apply to your field of work. And specifically, there are specific, I would say, occupations or a list of jobs where you need to have certifications which were not required back in your country, and then you get enough time and opportunity to learn and grasp those. And maybe if you want, you can change your field if you feel comfortable. Okay, I want to change. There is a learning, I would say, the whole age or your whole life experience is through learning, so you can always learn through different phases of your life. And in terms of I would say getting into more knowledge, you have more experience. When you are ready to take any kind of knowledge, you can have different sort of experience, and that matters at the end of the day. And if we talk about the taxation system here, because like I have heard many people say is like in New Brunswick or in any other provinces, Atlantic provinces, basically, the taxations are far high as compared to other provinces.
Yes.
So does that make anything differed in their cost of living?
Yeah. So one of the things that has to always be understood with taxation system, so we have obviously a federal taxation system for the country. So there's tax levels, and that's the same across. But each province has a slightly different taxation system. I hesitate to say that it's far higher here. Is it a little bit higher here? Yes, there is no doubt about that. But to be able to provide the services for the residents, it takes a little bit more. It's marginally higher here, but what might be a lower income tax in one province, higher income tax in this province, there might be a different tax of property tax might be higher in that province and lower in this province. And so the government is still, they want their tax money. There's no doubt about that. So, and they're going to get it somehow, but it's up and down everywhere. So I hesitate to say that taxes are far higher here. I think that if you count all the different types of taxes, they're fairly similar total across each province.
Yeah. And I believe if you compare the cost of living, it's far better to stay here in this province.
Yeah.
If you are, in terms of like income as well, if you are getting little lower as compared to other provinces, you are spending low. So that's making a saving for you. So that's not a question, I believe, but a lot of viewers and my subscribers always ask why you have been moving to Moncton, or why we need to move to other provinces which are not common, and they prefer moving to big provinces. And I always suggest them, if you move to any big provinces, you have to spend a lot of money from your pockets to stay there, to have your expenses and everything. So people have different perspective. So today we are here to give suggestions to people who want to move to those provinces which are uncommon in Canada. And what suggestions you have for them?
First and foremost, picking a smaller province does have its benefits, so New Brunswick being one of them. But to be successful, I really encourage people, meet people. Go and meet people. Go and introduce yourself. Meet your neighbors. This is a friendly place here in Moncton, here in New Brunswick. It's just an environment where you just have the opportunity. You can be walking in a mall. You can be walking in a store. You can be walking on the street, and it's very normal. Say hi to your neighbors. Say hi to the different people. Introduce yourself. It's amazing how quick you can be so successful by just meeting people, getting involved in things. Don't be afraid to volunteer with some organization, whatever it would be. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of volunteer opportunities, and take advantage of that. Those are the things that several months later are going to show or land you for being successful, because people notice those things. One of the things about being in New Brunswick or in Atlantic Canada or the provinces here on the East Coast is people want to get to know you. People want to know where you're from. Don't be afraid to tell people, hey, I'm from this place. And one of the things I find interesting, I have 3 students coming over to my house tomorrow, and we're going to have a Canadian barbecue. Okay, and this is why, and one of the students is from India. One of the students is from Bangladesh. The other student is from Sri Lanka. And these are 3 students that met only 4 months ago. They've come here, they came by themselves, and they really are just in the mode of wanting to be successful. They want to meet people, they want to be part of our community. And by the way, all 3 of them, within about 6 weeks, all had customer service jobs. And I will I can't say the word guarantee, but almost guarantee, a year and a half from now, I really predict these 3 students are really destined to something great.
Wow, that's great. So I would ask, like, any sort of skills people should learn before moving here in Canada?
I mean, right now, Canada is looking for all kinds of different skill sets, whether it be IT, engineering, architecture, it could be accounting or finance. People with medical backgrounds are quite handy. There is a challenge, of course, with the people with clinical or medical backgrounds and getting that foreign credential recognition. That one's tough. That one's very, very hard. But some industries don't require any foreign credential recognition, like IT or so on. But engineering and a few things, accounting, it takes a little bit to get recognized for your skills. But start that process as soon as you get here. Starting it ahead of time is tough, but at least look into it before you come. But we want people that are natural in the thing that they're good at in the first place. The opportunities here are endless.
I think I have asked too many questions to you. And first of all, thank you for being part of our family. So any other suggestions you want to give to our viewers?
Come here, enjoy, be part of our community. Just, contribute. The more you give, the more you're going to get back. Thank you very much.
So thank you for watching this video. And if you have any questions you want Don to ask, you can always put that in comments and we can forward those questions to Don and he will try to answer all those questions for you. If you find this podcast knowledgeable, interesting, then do like our videos and put a comment so that we can know how we are doing, and subscribe to our channel Canadian Desire.